Right, it's Boxing Day 2025. We are down at the stables. Charlotte's feeding the horses. The kids are helping Muck out with the new toys. But what I want to do today is, as many of you know, and many of you may be watching, I am dyslexic, which means that it's a gift. I think the gift means that I have a visual mind and it really helps with videos. Anyway, last September, just gone, the September before, I found myself at Oulton Park talking to Adam Henson, who also is dyslexic. And we did a little video, and the idea was, I was going to do videos with sort of well-known dyslexics and put them out on a different channel and maybe start that. But this is sort of like the pilot, if you will. So here's a little bit from Adam. Right, I am in a random place, not with a random man. You might recognise him, Adam Henson, off the telly. I'm at Oulton Park and we're watching the British Superbikes because we were invited kindly by Data Tag. So, reason I'm here and we've got proper microphones on doing it properly is because I want to talk about dyslexia. Because when I met Adam, was it 2 summers ago?
Yeah.
2-3 summers ago? We're talking about dyslexia and how I do YouTube. And I think it helps being dyslexic. And everyone that I know that does YouTube well is dyslexic. The noise of them bikes.
Incredible, aren't they?
So I mentioned it to Adam and he said, well, I've never been fully diagnosed, but you think you're dyslexic?
Yeah, I wasn't very good at school. I was certainly had to do extra English lessons because my spelling was bad. I used to write my letters back to front, and still not very good at reading, still not very good at writing. When there's a screen up and looking at words, you know, some people it comes very easy to them, it doesn't for me. So I don't think I'm very severely dyslexic, but my wife would definitely say I am. And I've just sort of learned to work around it, I suppose. And I think one of the things I really struggle with is reading out loud. So with my telly world, I have to do voiceovers. When you go into a studio and you wear earphones and you have to watch the numbers spinning around and then get the words in the right gap. And I'm sweating and hate it because when I was 10 at school, being told to stand up and read out loud was terrifying. I used to cry. And so going into the studio to boo still gets me now, even though I'm an old man.
Yeah, we might get a little loud in a second, but it's the same with me. I can actually read books. If I go on holiday and I've got nothing to do, I will find probably one of Clarkson's books and I'll read it.
Well, I've got some books. You can read one of mine.
Oh, right, yeah, actually, yeah.
I've written more books than I've read.
That's probably like a world record. But when you read, I know what you mean, your mind's jumping ahead.
Yeah.
So you can read a book or you can read words and you've took it in. But if you try and read them out to somebody else, it's worse. Your brain doesn't want to do that because it's already put it. It's like it's took it through your eyes and put it straight in your brain, and then to put it out your mouth again seems wrong.
Well, my wife can read really well and very, very quickly and just plows through books. But I have to read every word, and sort of it all really sinks in, and I sort of get really in depth in with the book. So I do read, but very, very rarely. Because when I do read, I put so much effort into it, I get really tired.
Yeah.
So I usually fall asleep after 4 or 5 pages. Yeah.
And what's your handwriting like?
Okay. Yeah. So not too bad. Reasonably neat, and but my spelling isn't very good.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, mobile phones are a godsend to people with dyslexia because you've got autocorrect. Because when I was in school, like there was nothing like that, and obviously when you still use quills and stuff like that.
Indeed. Yeah.
But I mean, even now I still have to think, how do I spell field? You know,
sure,
I still put F-E-I-L and it's like, no, it's F-I, you know.
Sure, yeah.
And it's, I mean, sometimes even my middle name, Thomas, I'm like, you know, I have to think about it. You're like, and that's just what it is, isn't it?
Well, and I think when you're under pressure as well, if I'm putting in a pressure situation and someone asks me to, with numbers or with letters, I struggle sometimes. And if I've got to read a sign really quickly, doesn't really spring out to me. And you know, they call it neurodiversity now, don't they? And when I was at school, I'd get sent out of the classroom for being disruptive or naughty because that was my way of coping with it. And you know, I've done all right in life, but what I have done is surrounded myself with people who complement my skills, who can help me compensate for the difficulties that I have in some areas that I'm not good at. And I think anybody watching this should be thinking about that if they're in a similar situation. You don't have to be good at everything. You know, you're very successful, I've got on all right, and you know, there are other ways of managing your life.
Yeah, one way I had it just explained to me, and you might agree, is we probably have a more visual mind, so we can see things in like 3 dimensions, which doesn't make us academic, but it makes us be able to solve problems faster or have a vision of how something's going to turn out.
And we've all got different personalities, haven't we? So one of the things we do at work in our business is we personality profile all of our senior team, because we've all got different characteristics, and then we learn how to cope with one another and how to build strong relationships and forgive one another for some of the different characteristics that we don't quite understand as individuals. So people now get me and I get them, and it's fine.
Yeah, so in fact, we're with him here today, my agent Guy. He had to tell his staff, if you're texting Olly and he sends back a one-word answer, he's not in a bad mood. That's just him. He doesn't use 3 words or 10 words when one will do. And that is actually it. And it's like you're saying now, like, you might have an employee that might think, oh, they're pissed off with me because they've just sent fine. Well, it's because they're probably like me and they haven't got time to write, oh yes, that's absolutely perfect.
I've just been filming in Scotland for 2 days up at the Supreme Sheepdog Championship, and one of the guys who organised the logistics, how to get there, the hotels, all that kind of stuff, he was saying, your responses to my emails are very brief. Have I annoyed you? I said, no, I just can't be bothered with all the niceties. You know,
that's exactly it. If someone sends me an email, if I had to go onto the second line to write a little bit more, I feel like I've wasted my day. So yeah, so very similar minds, but I think that's what works in the kind of like this, the media world that Adam works in and I've found myself in. What's your top tip to someone that is struggling at school that might be dyslexic then?
Well, I think schools are getting a lot better. I think they're learning how to cope with people who have got neurodiversity and how to bring the best out of them. And I think if you think you are, in some shape or form, whatever that might be, is to find out and then go to your teacher, or if that doesn't work, go to the head teacher and make sure you get the support that you require. And don't feel down about it. Don't, rebel. Try and work with your brain and your mindset and your characteristics.
There's actually a brilliant book called The Gift of Dyslexia that someone told me about. Admittedly, I've only read 2 chapters. And in it, there's a paragraph, and I read it, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. And I read it 3 times. Then underneath, there's a sentence that says, a lot of dyslexics will struggle to read the paragraph above because of the way the words are written in different combinations. And that's like, yeah, I definitely am. But it is a gift, because it means that your mind works in a slightly different way, which gives you an advantage in business and lots of other things. So if you are, don't worry about it. And I'm going to try and do a few more of these kind of style interviews with successful dyslexic. I've got to find them, but they are out there. Richard Branson is probably the most famous one. I think Lord Sugar might be as well, actually.
Really?
Yeah. So, but yeah, thanks, Adam.
Not at all. No, great
if you've
to
liked the
spend
video,
some time with you.
give it a like. Yeah. And I hope you heard it all.
Now we've finished speaking.
I bet they finished racing now, yeah?
We missed it.
Yeah. So thanks again, Adam, for that. That was, like I say, 14 months ago, maybe 15 months ago when that was filmed. Is anyone dyslexic watching, or do they know anyone? If you do, let me know in the comments. I'm sure to maybe do a dedicated channel just to stories a bit like that. Anyway, I've just done something for the news, so there's a little bit of that. It's just about what's happening on farms at the moment.
Is that a C turn? Is that a what's half an L turn?
Bit of like an L.
Yeah, an L
a
turn.
Curvy L or a J.
Yeah, a J turn. Let's call it that. Well, shall we speak to a farmer about this? Olly Harrison can join us now. Olly, thanks indeed for being with us this Boxing Day. Farmers really do have to work the whole year round, I suppose.
Yeah, no, that's it. It's all to do with the weather, and if you've got livestock, they obviously need to be fed 365 days a year, twice a day. Yeah, it's definitely a better Christmas than we thought we were going to have. I would reckon around 50% of farms now have been taken out the eye of the storm of the inheritance tax fiasco. Sadly, though, I would think that there's still around 50% left in, and if you think that the top sort of 25% of farms produce 75% of the food, there is still a big risk to food security at the moment, although many upland farms and some of the smaller ones will now actually have just about break even under that threshold, which is fantastic news. But I think there is still more to be done. I know I sound like I'm always moaning, but it would be nice to make sure that all farmers have got a future that's investable.
And Olly, it's taken the government well over a year of you guys bringing your tractors to Westminster, constant protests and telling them. Why do you think it took so long? Some critics say that Labour basically just don't understand rural communities. Do you think that is a fair charge?
100%. I mean, I'm not sure if any governments of recent years have understood agriculture, to be perfectly honest. It would have been nice if they had some sort of consultation before all this, and then it would have saved a lot of embarrassment for them and a lot of lost votes, shall we say, because I don't know how they can rebuild the rural vote that they've lost at the moment. I mean, they've probably lost it for 3 generations unless they actually pull the socks up now and get working with farmers and come up with some solutions to make farming profitable and also investable. Because at the moment, farm the size of mine, there's no real thought of investing into it. You might as well put it into other businesses because it's just too risky at the moment, especially with no sort of end game, if you will.
Well, Olly, tell us a bit about your farm. We can see you there standing outside on a chilly Liverpudlian day. What have you got in the field behind you?
To be honest, I'm at the in-laws, which is just in the hills, just the other side of Manchester. So, yeah, I'm predominantly arable, so it's been quite wet, although it has forecast dry weather for the next 4 or 5 days. So we might get drilling wheat again on sort of the lower land near Liverpool. But no, actually, it's a day off for me apart from feeding the animals behind me. There's a few sheep and a horse, but yeah, not a massively busy day. I've got two youngsters under 4 at the moment, so we brought them outside for some fresh air to wear them out, I think.
Rearing not just sheep and pigs, but children as well. Which is hardest?
Yeah, the children. Especially with so much chocolate and things floating around. Yeah, maybe they should have been eating more 8p potatoes. They might not have had the same energy in them.
And Olly, days off are really few and far between for you, aren't they? How much of a problem has the weather been this year? Because, of course, we had this, well, for us, non-farmers, glorious summer, hot weather, very little rain. Has that made things really difficult for you? And if our food price is going to be going up because of it?
It's made it difficult from a cash flow point of view because we've got very little in the sheds to sell. So we grow wheat, beans, barley, oats, oilseed, things like that. And the piles in the shed are very small. But then equally, between Christmas and New Year, we'll be loading that grain out, generally keeping the mills going. And because there's so little of it, there's actually only very few trucks coming out in the next week or so. Whereas in normal years, we'd have been sort of 10 or 12 trucks a day. Whereas instead, I think we've got 5 or 6 over the next 5 or 6, 7 days, maybe 1 a day instead of 10 a day. So that just shows the difference of what stocks that we've got available to outload, if you will. And then, of course, that is the reverse. Then it means we've got no cash flow. But it's so dry so all year, really. January started off quite mild, and then we got no rain in April and May and June, and that's when we'd get what we call grain fill. So it made when the wheat would grow really thick, you'd get like 5 or 10 stems a plant instead of 2. Then you get nice juicy grains on the top of that, but we didn't get anything like that. We just got small shrivel grains, and yields were probably 20% of what we'd have expected, and certainly 20% of what we need to break even. So it's been a real tough year for arable, and the livestock lads have had the same thing, trying to find fodder to keep things fed over winter as well.
Wow, Olly, did I hear you right, that where sometimes there'd be 10 lorries a day taking out your produce, you're expecting maybe just one tenth of what you'd normally be exporting?
Yeah, I mean, the harvest is down probably to 20% of what it should be. But we also used to store oilseed rape for the cooperative. And because there was none, the shed is actually empty this year. There wasn't enough to even start filling the shed. So we'd generally be having a lot of that going out. So everyone had the same problem. The oilseed rape crops failed. So, yeah, massively down.
Well, Olly, I know it's been a very, very tough year for you guys. Hopefully next year will be a little bit better at the very least. But you know that so many people watching support you guys so very heartily. Olly Harrison, thanks indeed for joining us, and good luck with your farm.
Yeah, that was a little bit for GB News. We're going to try and do the birthdays. Can you say Martin McGuire? Well, go on then. No. Okay, let's try Clara. Can you say Martin McGuire?
Martin Tyler.
Yeah, happy birthday. Can you say Harry Clark?
Harry.
Harry Clark, happy birthday. What about Emma Jin?
Dinner.
Don't know. Happy birthday, Emma. Oh, happy heavenly birthday, Mum. Sorry. Can you say Jenna Foot?
Yeah.
Go on then.
Barry.
Happy birthday, Jenna. She's 37. And happy birthday, Emily, who's 28. No. And a sister's birthday as well. Brenda White, Emily 28. I don't know. It's a bit of a confusing message. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's today's birthdays. Now, something else I was going to show you. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, that's probably all for today. So thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Don't tip it there. Tip it on the muck heap. No, tip it on the muck heap. Concentration. Don't drive over the edge. There we go. That's it. Yeah, shake the bucket. Right, it's empty now. Trust the dog to roll in it. Keep going. Keep going. Go on, lean in, lean in, lean in. Lean, lean, lean. Lean left. There you go. It's better, isn't it? Made a bit of a rut there, James. Go. Uh-oh.